yo, I got this idea, I got that idea.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, well, what are the details? You know what I'm saying? And then we'll go back and forth. So every time that I've tried to like avoid that conflict, I've suffered in my business ventures. Every time that I've been willing to grow in conflict with my wife through our business, it's always succeeded and excelled. So
we're gonna come back to that. That's deep.
Yeah.
What's happening, y'all? This is Mike D with Black Fathers Now, where we're bringing the village to the brothers. Every couple of weeks, you can look forward to a quick inspirational message or a thought-provoking guest with knowledge and wisdom, all geared towards helping you be the best father that you can be. We're bringing the village to you. Now it's your turn to do something with what you learned. All right, y'all. Let's go. What's going on, fellas? This is Mike D, Mr. Double Down on You, with another episode of Black Fathers Now. And dig this, man. I know a lot of times I say I have eclectic brothers on the show, but I really got an eclectic brother on the show today. And this man is none other than my guy, Marcus Harvey, a.k.a. the Barberstar. And Marcus is a husband. He's a father. He's an entrepreneur. He's a celebrity grooming expert, the creator of the Musa Layer Gallery, which we're going to talk about. It's a gallery for this grooming thing, right? He's considered the Barberstar. That's, if you've heard the name Barberstar, you know who I'm talking to or talking about. He's also the creator and the star of Ghost Brothers, the TV show. And we'll talk a little bit about that too, because that's kind of an interesting scenario there. But when I say the brother's eclectic, we're going to dive into a whole lot of twists and turns. But long story short, this is going to be a really dope conversation. So fellas, ladies listening too, because y'all like to hear what we're talking about, let's welcome my man, Marcus Harvey. What's up, brother?
What's happening, folks? What's happening? Thank you for having me, Mike. That was a astounding intro. And I do feel eclectic. I should have wore like a blue jean jacket underneath the city or something like that. You know what I'm saying? To make it even more eclectic. Maybe a cowboy hat. Maybe a feather with it. I don't know.
Yeah, like I said, blue jean jacket, cowboy hat with a feather,
with a hoodie on. You know, that's eclectic. That's the black guy eclecticness of all eclecticness. You know. Hold
on, you got to describe that a little bit different because you sounding like Lil Nas X right now. And so,
am I choppy?
No, you sound like Lil Nas X.
No. You know how?
You with the hoodie and the.
That's that Lenny Kravitz.
I dig that.
Lenny Kravitz move. I don't get no haircuts for no reason no more. You know, Lenny Kravitz type move. That's eclectic.
I did, and let me tell you,
where I wear blue jean shirts with no shirt underneath. That's eclectic.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. And look, that blue jean got to be quality because if not, that bad boy gonna itch. So
it's gonna itch. You gotta have flip flops on. Gotta be Eric Benet out here. That's eclectic. Shazza from a different world is eclectic.
Oh, Shazza. Yeah. That was doggone Freddie's homeboy. Freddie's dude.
The first F boy in the world. First woke F boy ever.
The first woke F boy, Shazza from a different world.
Yeah.
I love it, dude. You bring back so much, man, and it's cool because like the young folks ain't gonna know what you're talking about, but everybody, who's over about 37, 36 ish on up, they're gonna be like Shazza, Freddie's boyfriend.
The first one, that man, Shazza was writing books about bruh. Dang, different world was ahead of their time before we knew what it was. Yeah.
They were, dude. And it's funny thinking about a different world. It was funny how it flipped after Debbie Allen became a part of the joint. So like that first season of A Different World, it was different. But I remember watching the backstory of it, and Debbie Allen was just like, you know, because she went to Howard. So she said she brought in all these nuances of a real HBCU. Like she said, it was a little nuance of like having hot sauce on the tables. She was like, before she got there, like when they were in the pit, wasn't no hot sauce. She was just like, how you gonna have an HBCU pit or it ain't no hot sauce? Yeah, and so it was so interesting, man. Yeah,
and that's crazy, you know, and that's something that's like even dope now. Thinking about even Debbie Allen in those times, creating and curating, because you did bring up curating. You know, just how she was able to transition from dancer.
Yes.
To director, to executive producer, to getting roots on television. It's like when you think about it, like those are the type of people that I kind of really look at. Like as like trailblazers for not allowing to be just stuck in one discipline. You feel me? So it's like you can like I'm excellent in everything that I do because I know what excellence is. You know what I'm saying? And when I apply it, it's excellent. If I don't, then I don't mess with stuff that I can't apply my excellence with. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I like rock with Debbie Allen with. Yeah.
Oh, you said I don't rock with things or I don't fool with things that I cannot apply my excellence in. That's, that to me really lends itself to self-awareness, right? Because you're very keen on understanding where I have the capacity to be great. And those are the areas in which I jump in. If I don't have the capacity to be great, honestly, that's not my lane. So what am I going to do? I'm not going to fool with that. That's somebody else's lane. I'll support you. I'll, be a fan, be whatever. But real talk, if I can apply my excellence, that's where I jump in. I like that, dude. I mean, we're going to jump into that because I want to really circle back around to that. Like, where did that come from? Like, how did you learn that? How did you start to find that aspect of yourself out? Because I think that's something that the brothers can legitimately kind of gain from. Because when you think about being excellent, it's first about having that self-awareness and understanding where you have the capacity for excellence, right? Then you apply that. But let's jump into that in a second. Before we get started, man, we talk about excellence. Every brother has a village around them. It takes a village to raise a child, right? But every strong man, woman, everybody has a village around them. Give a shout out to your village, brother.
All right, so let me tell you about the village, right? So I've realized that my execution capacity has jumped considerably since I've had a team full of women, Black women. This is like fact. If I could be a study, I would. This is what I've deduced from my evaluation of what's been happening in my life, as far as, especially even now during the pandemic. Like, this is some of the most trying times in this history, right, of our lifetime. We've never been at something with this caliber happening, right? So I'm like in the mindset of like, you would think that somebody would be falling off or be losing, but the women around me, I got my wife, Christina Harvey. Me and her been married for 15 years now. No, not 15 years.
Congratulations.
Not 15. I don't even know how many years now. Let me not say 15. Don't give me no congratulations, because if she watches this and she says 15, it ain't no 15. Why you always lying? Then now you getting me in trouble, because I'm trying to get the numbers. You see, I ain't saying nothing. How I'm getting you in trouble? Let me get my numbers straight, brother. Then you can ask me how long. Like, that's pop quiz. I've been zooming too much education, so I don't even really know how to really answer things no more. So look, we've been married since 08, all right? Since
okay.
08, so
okay, it'd be 12. Yeah, 12.
So there we go.
Yeah.
Hey, actually, let me say this. Being in quarantine for these last few months has added 3 years onto our relationship, I feel like.
Woo, bro, dude, check this out. Yeah. We're recording this now, and obviously it'll release later. Yeah. But our anniversary is coming up on July the 18th. It'll be 11 years for us. So we were born in 2009. That's how I was able to help you out. So we 1 year after you. Mine's coming up. Yeah. That'll be 11.
Yeah, bro.
yeah.
Bro.
Yeah.
Like, because it's just. So my team, Christina Harvey. First off, Christina, the wife of me, my best friend, literally my business partner. Everything that I've done business-wise that succeeded was because she actually got involved in it.
Wow.
All the other things that I kind of do like outside of her, because I don't want to necessarily have a stress between us, because I know how when my wife jumps into something, she's like very detail-oriented, and I'm a very like, yo, I got this idea, I got that idea. She's like, well, what are the details? You know what I'm saying? And then we'll go back and forth. So every time that I've tried to like avoid that conflict, I've suffered in my business ventures. Every time that I've been willing to grow in conflict with my wife through our business, it's always succeeded and excelled. So
we're gonna come back to that. That's deep.
Yeah. Yeah. Christina Harvey, first off, okay, I'll give you even more history about me and Christina. Christina, when we first got married, I was like, I'm a stand-up comedian also. So when we first got married, I was like going to cosmetology school, and I was just starting stand-up comedy.
Okay.
My wife is an amazing singer. She sings background for Tasha Cobbs. She sings background for Micah Stampley. She's done a lot of recordings. Cavante, Delonte, she's done a lot of projects, right? So, and then she's also been like back administration for a lot of those artists.
Okay.
And so I've always known her capacity to build systems, build, structures, and I've just always known that. So, but it's just like, you don't want to always want to have to be talking about business. So you be trying to find your way out. Nonetheless, when I first started doing barbering, I started doing comedy, and I was doing it at a very high clip. My comedy actually started rising up faster. So my wife became like, she was a background singer, because I used to have background singers in a band for my comedy shows.
Wow.
So she was the lead background singer for that. She also was like the president of my comedy entertainment group, put together all the emails, all the media meetups. Then when I did a comedy DVD, she helped me with my boy Hank Denson to like really formulate that business partnership. Emails got me connected with Rashonda Coleman, who's my next person I'm gonna shout out. But Christina's done Bad Kids in a Blanket. When I went on tour, I did a 22-city comedy tour for colleges in 25 days. Mm-hmm. And it was called The Miseducations of Marcus Harvey.
Wow.
And my wife was my tour manager, and she set everything up. I'm talking about we took a flight. We would get checks late. We were on the road with no money. She was making sure it was held down, bro. So
wow.
And then now we're in the gallery, the art gallery, which is Musalayer. So now she's the president, CFO of all those things. She just runs everything from licensing to funding to HR to she's just all over the place. So shouts out to her. And she raises two adorable, beautiful kids, Nova and Kingsley.
Yes, and you got some beautiful babies.
And those kids, she was in labor for 48 hours on both. She just dope, man. Just a boss. She's a boss, yeah. Literally a boss. I wish I could live up to her.
Well, check this out. You're connected to her. That's the key.
Yeah. Sometimes I'll be feeling like she's dragging me though.
Really?
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, real talk. Like, because see, all the things that y'all see is like that's easy stuff. Like, I realized that before the pandemic, I could work nonstop if you just put me in an environment to work. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But like to build something, like it takes time to think about that. And the only way that I could have done that is with her. You feel me? So
yeah, dude. It's interesting hearing you talk, man. It really sounds like the perfect marriage of the artist and the manager, right? In a sense that you're the artist, so you're the one that's kind of out front. You're the the brand of what people see. But she's literally kind of helping to pull the strings, and she's orchestrating this thing and organizing it. And it's funny, we're very similar in the sense of I'm kind of this creative idea type person. My wife is very much structural about execution. And so it's really such a blessing to hear you talk the way that you're talking about your wife, because that's what I feel as well about my wife, which is really a dope way to look at it, man.
And what's funny though, because I also included with that is that sometimes she sees my aggression and that inspires her though. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes she didn't have she wouldn't jump into my business if she didn't think that I would just be rash. So let's just say if I was a doormat type of dude, right, and I didn't have any type of gumption, get to itness, we would just be chilling. We would just have regular jobs. But I think that, like you said, because I'm pushing sometimes, exposure wise in a sense, artistry wise, business wise, that she sometimes okay, if I don't jump in, he might take us to the deep end. You feel me? So dude, it's like she's more so I know he's gonna do it, but what's he gonna break in order to do it?
And she's here to help.
She's like, I'm here to not let you be a bowl and I'll give you a perfect example. We had packages, shipped here to shipped to the house. I'll just if I have anything sharp in my hand, it won't be no pretty, unveiling, but she'll be like, all you had to do is just get a pair of scissors.
I feel you. Dude, can I tell you what helped me? I got a homeboy, Brian, Brian Russell. He gave me this analogy. He said, I am like a balloon and my wife is like the string holding onto the balloon to keep me from flying away. And I thought about that and I was just like, dude, that is such an analogy for me because I am like that balloon. Like if it's helium in it, you snip the cord, that thing's flying off somewhere, right?
So,
but he said,
I could be hot air.
That's it. And that's exactly how I am. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I was like, I'm feeling it's like a kindredness when you're saying that, because I feel like that with my wife. She's walking with the string on that balloon. She's allowing that thing to go up high now. She gives it a lot of string, but she makes sure it doesn't fly away. You know?
That's a really good point. That's
a
really good point.
And it made me think about that when you were just talking about your wife, man. That's a really dope scenario, dope analogy to kind of put into practice. Yeah.
Dang, that's really dope.
It is. Like literally, man.
Balloon
like
on the string, yeah.
It's balloon on the string. I'm the balloon. She's holding that string and keeping it grounded. Yeah, it's real talk. Yeah.
So like, you know, we're kicking it now. We're excelling. I'm about to push her into doing her own. Album soon. So, you know, we're getting some funding for that. So we just have a lot of good things going on. So it's about to be her turn. The other people in my circle, Marquita Minifield, she's amazing. She's been on point. On point. Amazing. Like structuring me to be a very valuable man. Even though I felt like I was valuable before, but you know, like if you don't prune and like hem stuff, it's like it's not going to look right. So
that's right.
They've been pruning her, Amy Moulton. Amy's been killing it. She's the shops, the galleries coordinator. So she's been doing amazing stuff with the artists, with content, production when we have productions there. My right hand man's the Donato Smith, Christopher Smith, amazing guy. My manager at the gallery, he does a great job. And then just, you know, I mean that's pretty much the Fantastic Four right there.
Wow.
You know, everybody else definitely has had a major part. So currently, right now, that's the kind of the circle.
That's the Fab Four.
The Fab Four, Fantastic Four, four horsewomen and men. You know what I'm saying? So they good. They're killing it right now. They make it a lot easier.
You dropped something there, man, when you were talking a few minutes ago. And this is something, again, we're going to jump into your story, but I can't bypass this thing. And you said, every time I've been willing to grow in conflict with my wife, I've succeeded. When I didn't, I failed. Like that thing right there. I mean, that goes to Proverbs about, you know, building with your wife, and, you know, she's a ruby, she's a jewel, she's literally, that's more precious than any type of jewel that you can find, and building together in concert. But the concept that you dropped was, when I'm willing to grow in conflict with my wife, I've succeeded. When I didn't, I failed. Can you dive into that a little bit more? Because I think that's something that as men, because, you know, we're taught to lead. Right. We're taught to be the head. We're taught to go out there, slay dragons, and, you know, bring home the bacon and do this and do that. We're not always taught to grow in conflict with our wife. And that's led to success for you. Talk to us a little bit about that, brother.
It's a new concept, so new that I just said it here, because I didn't even know that it was that, you know, but I was like, as I was thinking about our relationship and how we've been moving lately, it's been a lot of like, you know, conflict, not in a bad, it's just been rubbing, you know what I'm saying? But it's always been rubbing into getting things done. You know, did you get something done? Yeah, I got it done. Why you ask me if I got something? You always know I get stuff done. Well, do you? Well, not that last time, but you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the type of like conflict that we go through a lot of times. But it's also like, it makes me even think about now, like, yo, like, as I'm learning how to approach her better, I think it makes everything else. Because she's like, because it's like Morpheus. My wife feels like it's like Morpheus, right? Sometimes my wife's Morpheus, and then sometimes she's Neo. You know what I'm saying? Like we like switch roles. Like sometimes she's teaching me like to unleash my powers. Like, bro, if you would just say it this way, it would go way smoother. I know that you are that dope, but you need to chill because they don't know that, they don't take that as you being confident and you proving your point. They take that as you being better than them. And I'm like, And I just be like, like she'll do stuff like that. And she may say it in a high pitched voice or a mad voice in response to something that I say. But if I slow myself down and I think about everything that she says in the last 3 months, I've only applied that and like really like used it softer on other people. So I go through the hard conflict with her, and then I lay it up for other people, which is the weirdest thing. And that's something that we shouldn't be doing. But it's like I know she's the only person who cares for me. You know what I'm saying, in the world.
Dude, can I tell you what's so powerful about what you said? First, I have two things. You mentioned growing in conflict, and as you were talking, I'm a person that thinks through association. So I try to find analogies and references and whatever. When you say growing in conflict, I thought about the concept of friction, right? Because you can't have fire without friction. Mm-hmm. So that conflict is that friction needed or necessary for something to burn. And you need that thing to burn so that you can grow and you can cook and you can do what you got to do. So you got to have that. You can't be scared of it. But it also, once you get to this point, I think it comes to that point in our marriages. Because I've been married, it'll be 11 years soon, at the recording of this. When it comes to a point in which you get comfortable with being okay going back and forth and understanding that the intention of your spouse is not to hurt you. Because I think that's a struggle that some of us have early on in marriages or early on in relationships is we haven't quite gotten comfortable to the notion that this person's not trying to hurt me. Meaning,
can I even say,
go ahead.
Can I even say early in the day, not just early in your relationship?
Absolutely.
Like I fight with that often. Like, because they know us. You know what I'm saying? So she knows all my flaws. So when she points out a flaw, I don't know if that's an attack or a rebuke or her trying to heal by her exposing that this is something that continues to go on.
That's powerful. And the only way for that to be able to work, or the only way for us to be open to that, is for us to understand that they are not coming from a place of trying to destroy us. Like my wife and I've had numerous conversations, and if she gives me feedback that's constructive criticism, or I give her some constructive criticism or something that's challenging, we always have to kind of back it up with, but look, I'm doing this because I want you to be better, right? I'm not doing this because I'm wanting to hurt you. Like I don't want her to think anything that I say is ever with malicious intent. And the moment that you get to that point where you know that nothing my wife says to me is malicious, even if it's like hardcore, nasty, whatever, if she says, you this, you that, you this, you that, I have to look at it from the perspective of, because she's not malicious against me, anything that she gives me is to help me to become better. And that's something that I personally need to work on. Then I don't take it personally. I just apply it to your point, and that helps me to get better when I can approach it that way. But it takes a while to get there.
Can I say this too?
Yes.
And this just popped up in my head.
Go ahead.
As I'm having this conversation with you, I realized like success clusters. You know what I was talking about success clusters a while back ago, where like everybody grows, but they're successful in the same rights in different industries.
Yes.
Like you got to, and then how you have to have a successful group around you.
Yes.
I was telling my barbers yesterday that, you guys have to be here together. To be able to sharpen your iron, to be able to feel each other, to be able to know each other, and to be able to grow. I also just thought about, as me and you were having this conversation, like there's been times where I was like, I want to be a better husband. But because I wasn't talking to other husbands, my mind wasn't getting kind of jarred like, oh yeah, I want to be dope again. Like, because sometimes like the way that I'm talking right now, it's my tone is understanding, like, trying to like break it down. But when when I'm talking with the wife, it's like we're combative at certain points. But like I said, it's combative over accomplishments for the betterment of our family. Like we want to be better parents, so we're combative of us being better parents. Not to know like you're not doing this or you're not doing that. They're like we're taking it hard on ourselves versus just be like taking a step back and be like we're growing. You know what I'm saying? And like I said before, man, it's just crazy that we'll have these strong fights like with Morpheus and Neo in the dojo room, just so that you know how to move around an agent. You know what I'm saying? And then you know how to move around them. So I just really, really appreciate that she hasn't left me while we've been training.
Ooh, Lord, that's deep. And I think about that as well because I'm far from perfect. Like I'm an imperfect being. A dude, I'm probably gonna screw up. I probably screwed up already today at some point, and I probably screw up a little bit later on today. Like it's just, I'm imperfect, and I know that. I recognize that. But in spite of that, right? Like that's that grace. That's that thing that when we really think about it, in spite of that, we're still here fighting another fight. We're still here to push forward, and that's the beauty and the blessing. To me, that's the beauty and blessing of marriage. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not just we cool or we just together or that's my girl or whatever. It's like that institution itself. I know we have in culture, a lot of people are anti the institution of this and whatever. But that's one of, to me, the beauties of this institution is it gives that framework of, you know what, it's okay to have that, you know, to grow in conflict or to have that friction because we have this institution surrounding us that says even in conflict or even with that friction, we still together. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, man, listen. And, you know, it's not no hate or not no jab, but it's actually an actual tip of the hat to how Will and Jade are handling their stuff. Like, when you create a bubble of, like, or you create an agreement of, like nothing can rock us. Like, I'm not saying you go you do all the, you get entangled or something like that.
Yeah. We're not endorsing entanglements. We're not endorsing entanglements.
We're not endorsing entanglements, and we're not judging people who get in entanglements.
That's right.
Because an entanglement is just that, an entanglement. Like, that's biblical. Like, she used a biblical word on accident. Like you're entangled in something. Like, so we're not judging the ones who are entangled. We are showing you a way to get out of being untangled. Because there's a lot of shame in people who are entangled, and they're like, yo, I can't get out of it.
Absolutely.
So, like, those who are watching, like, you can get out your entanglement. You know what I'm saying? So, but nonetheless, bro, like, it's just dope to see how, like, with us, like, as far as, like, our dream of my gallery hasn't broken us up. And that's what I'm like, I'm so glad about, like, that union and that partnership that we have. Like, I don't feel like nothing can rock us. You know what I'm saying? Like, I will always fight to have the highest regard for her love. You know what I'm saying? In her eyes. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, even if I mess up to the world, like, as far as, like, business wise, as far as relationship wise, as far as, like, talking, you know, how I handle her, how I handle myself, how I handle my kid, whatever way that might not be pleasing to her, I'm willing to get back into the good graces of her. And I know find it too much of a task to start from ground zero every day if I need to.
Brother, it's intention. The intentionality of service that you have in regards to your wife, that's the core of the foundation. And like you mentioned before, everything I've been willing to grow in conflict with my wife about, I've succeeded in. Like, I don't know how powerful, I don't know if you realize how powerful that statement is. Like, that in itself is, I mean, we could possibly just end right now and say, fellas, just repeat that over and over and over and over again. That is deep. And but we got to go more. We got to go more into your story. So really, kind of, you know, we talked about your support system. We talked about your wife. We talked about just the mindset of being a husband and growing with your wife and learning how to be intentional about that. Talk a little bit about your backstory, man. Like, how did you, from a growing up perspective, how did you get to this place from a mindset perspective? Like, what are some of the inspirations, some of the experiences that led to you to being Marcus Harvey, the Barberstar, the owner of Musalair Gallery, the creator of the Ghost Brothers on TV? I mean, talk to us about what led to that, brother.
Yeah. Oh, okay. And I'm gonna try to go back through all of us. So growing up, my mom, single mother, but then, you know, my stepfather got involved around when I was about 8 or 9, I think 9 or 10. So, but for those years, me and my mom was just tough. Like, she was just intellectually, like, dope. She didn't graduate from college. She was involved in some very trying relationships when she was younger. I mean, she was adopted. Her adopted mother died. She was like, she's gone through a lot. And my mom is probably one of the funniest people that I know, smoothest people that I know. And she knows how to assimilate, like, because she's been in so much like stuff. My mom kind of knows how to just knows how to hustle. So she was the first person that I saw as a hustler who did side jobs. I'm going to tell her about this one day. My mom used to do on her side on the weekend. She used to clean these white folks' house. Crazy. When I was like 7, we would go over there. She would clean their house. Actually, this was back in '93. I don't even know how old I was in '93 because I don't know how all these. Nonetheless, I know it was something like that because the Braves were going on their World Series run.
Wow.
And the guys whose house she was cleaning had a whole bunch of AJC pages. Like AJC was running this thing like get to know the players. So they had an ad page of a full page of the just one player. So he would give me like all the players. So I had like David Justice, Fred McGriff, all these folks. Sid Breen.
Sid Breen, like, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Glavine, Smoke, Maddox, Avery, all of the boys like on my wall. And he gave me those because my mom was cleaning his house. And he's like, well, I got these things. I just thought he might like it. And my mom would clean the mess out that house. And I was like, dang, my mom works a full-time job and then we come and do this. It just never just really hit me. Then when I was 12, we moved to this townhouse, and behind it was this complex, this like shopping complex, like called, and there was this barbershop called Crosscuts.
Okay.
And that's where I got bit by the bug. So I was a 12-year-old fat kid. I saw this one guy sweeping up hair in the barbershop. Now the shop, like I said, is called Crosscuts. The owner was D and Mario. D and Mario had a shop. It's maybe, I think it was like 10 of them, 10 barbers. And I saw this young boy sweeping up the hair. They would give him cash. They were like buying him clothes. You know, the bootleg man come through or the booster man come through. They'd be like, yo, little man, what you want? What you want, Russ? You know what I'm saying? Russ will get some. And I'm like, yo, man, they always showing this boy love. And I asked my barber, which was D, he's the owner. I was like, yo, can I do what he's doing? So they let me come on a Thursday from 12 all the way to 15. I was the assistant kid. I was sweeping up hair, cleaning the bathrooms, cleaning the whole shop, cleaning their clippers, setting up their appointments, doing lunch runs.
Wow.
I've been running a shop since I was 12 without me knowing I was running a shop. Like, I saw how each barber was different, how to kind of like what issues they were always dealing with. It was just now that I'm even thinking about it as we're talking, I'm like, dang, I've been groomed for this. Like, and I realized that everybody who's great at something has been groomed for it.
Absolutely.
Like, I've been groomed to be a barber, shop owner, barber, community activist since I was 12, and the reason why is because I was influenced by 10 other amazing Black men who were barbers and entrepreneurs from the ages of 12 to 15.
Wow.
Me and my mom got into a car accident. She shattered her knee. We had to go to move to Tennessee, which was a blessing in disguise because I actually got to be in a small town with a whole bunch of people who cared for me. And I also was affiliated with the Boys and Girls Club from freshman in high school all the way to my senior year. And then, upon graduating from high school, I moved back to Atlanta, went to Georgia Perimeter, and then I started cutting hair because my brother was cutting hair randomly. Now my brother, like, okay, I'm a child of 3 boys, well, 3 boys, me and 2 other boys, and we have a sister.
Okay,
I'm the youngest, but my dad, we're all different mothers. Right?
Gotcha.
So,
okay,
but he's a good dude, great dude. Paid all that child support. I gotta give him up, Tony. Hey, Tony, because that's 4 child supports, bro.
Yes.
Dang, I don't even know how you did that.
I don't know how he did it, but the brother did it.
How he did it. Man, I don't know how he did it, but nothing was there. 4 child supports?
Come on.
God, dog. And they were all island women. My mom was the only one who wasn't an island woman. So you know they was on him. Nonetheless, though.
I love it.
Yeah, so my brother was going to Morehouse, right? So he's my older brother. My oldest brother lived in Sacramento all his life. So me and him were, on 2 different coasts, but we always come to the summer to go to my dad's in Texas, kick it with me, him, and my other brother Kareem, who lived in Texas. So My brother is finally moving to Atlanta, but I'm not in Atlanta because my mom got into the car accident. So I'm still in Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
So he's a freshman at Morehouse. Sophomore, I moved back, right? So I'm like, yo, I want to go to Morehouse. So I go to Georgia Perimeter, but I was like, I can't afford Morehouse. So I go to Georgia Perimeter for a year and a half. I saw that I wasn't good at that.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to cosmetology school, right? Because my brother was cutting at the time, like him and his roommate, Storm Briggs, were cutting hair for the Alphas at Morehouse.
Okay.
And just to have those collection of brothers, me being a young, impressive young bro, going to Georgia Perimeter, not even getting the Morehouse experience, but only having it in where I lived, because I was living with my brother at the time. Getting to see those brothers come in and like how cool they were, like how united they were, it just reignited me going back to when I was working at Crosscuts. Mm-hmm. Like, yo, I could cut hair. I was cutting hair, and then I was like, I was cutting hair in Tennessee. I could do it here. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna cut hair. So I started cutting hair in Morehouse, right? Mm-hmm. While I was in school at Empire Cosmetology Beauty School in Dunwoody, Georgia. Mm-hmm. While I was doing there, I was working at Morehouse. I was cutting hair at Morehouse. I was also working as an assistant for a young lady named Karen Owens, another woman who built me. Mm-hmm. Another woman. So pretty much that's just been my whole story, like just progression from that to that to that. So then as we fast forward, I got linked up. Once I started cutting on Morehouse, I started getting a lot of young boys who were like freshmen. Mm-hmm. So, they were freshmen, and I was cutting them from freshmen all the way. And you know how it works, as you grow, your clientele grows. And now these guys are like state representatives, CFOs at major companies, consultants and all this other stuff. So as I was climbing during that year of like, learning how to really getting my name up in Atlanta, I started becoming a celebrity barber randomly. I worked at the shop called Salon Ramsey. And at Salon Ramsey, the owner, Ramsey Shepherd, was actually about to retire when I came on. When I came on with him, he had 5 shops in Atlanta. It was crazy. Young boy had 5 shops, 2 in Buckhead, 1 in Edgewood. He had a whole bunch of spots all over the place, right? Okay. So he was like the guy in Atlanta. So he's like, Marcus, I see how you cutting, bro. I like your energy. I like all that stuff. Come rock with me. Me and him, he hit me up for like a year straight. Finally, I was like, yeah, bro, I'm gonna come work over there. Okay. As soon as I started working over there, he was retiring literally at that point. So remember, he was just talking about retiring
beforehand. Okay.
Beforehand, but when I came on, he's like, yeah, I'm done, bro. So here's my whole clientele. So he gave me all his clientele.
Wow.
Of his like regular guys. Just
hold on. He just literally he saw you. You met him before you started working with him, and he was just like, I like your energy. I like who you are. I like what you got going on. Come work for me, right? Yeah. All along, he was talking about retiring. The moment that you got there is the time that he was actually transitioning out. And it's interesting, as you start, have you read the book, The Alchemist?
I have it. I'm reading right now.
Yeah. Yes. So as you start pursuing your personal legend, the universe, or my belief structure, the creator of the universe conspires to help you along on your journey. So you talk about this backstory of, getting inspired first by your mom, hustling on the side, but then seeing the inspiration in the barbershop and just kind of jumping into that world itself. And you mentioned earlier in the conversation about how you jump into categories or segments or situations in which you can exercise your greatness, because that's where you can then excel, right? So you find areas that you can excel. You started doing that. And this guy who owns multiple shops saw you. You didn't necessarily seek him. He saw you and saw what you were doing. And he was ready to transition. And it was like this baton pass where he was, in my opinion, he was looking for this young brother that's of this caliber that I can pass the baton to. And you happen to be that, not happen to, but you were that one that he was looking for.
Yeah, and at the time, it was crazy about, like you said, the universe does conspire to kind of create who it wants to create, right? Mm-hmm. And I would definitely say that the universe God definitely is continuously creating me, it feels like.
Yes.
Like, because he keeps putting things around that makes it so, right? So I was actually an armor bearer at the same time when he was pursuing me. So the way that Ramsey found out about me was, I was working at this the salon with Karen, right?
Mm-hmm.
And at this point, I had kind of transitioned to being halftime her assistant, shampooing, doing the relaxers, doing the color, doing blow dries. And then when I had clients, she had another assistant who could take over for me, and I could cut my client's hair.
Mm-hmm.
So one of her assistants was actually one of my clients,
mm-hmm.
and so I started cutting his hair. I started doing designs in his hair before, like I really started getting loose with it. And that assistant quit at our shop and went to go work at Ramsey's. And that's how Ramsey found out about me. He's like,
wow.
The boy Brandon was like, yo, man, his name is Brandon. Brandon was like, man, this boy Marcus is cold-blooded. I mean, he was a hype man too. He's like one of those dudes who just, he like that boy is cold-blooded. You need to get him over here. And as soon as he sticked him on me, like I'm talking about for a year straight. And like you said, I was being groomed. I was being an armor bearer for my pastor at that time. So I was like super humble, like very moldable, coachable, just really seeking to try to find, like who I wanted to be. So like it was just very massively convenient for him. So right when I got on with him, I got off his regular clientele, right? So once I got his regular clientele, he was like, oh, you killing it. He started giving me celebrities. So one of his celebrity clients, well, he gave me a celebrity. The celebrity he gave me, he gave me two celebrities. He gave me one, it was Hill Harper.
Oh, right? Wow. Yeah. Okay.
I cut Hill Harper for like a Tyler Perry scene. He just needed something for continuity, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he put me on to Nas. Now the crazy thing about the Nas joint was I literally had ran into Nas at Lenox Mall 2 years prior to me working at Ramsey's, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when I see him, I had these cards that look like bookmarks, right?
Okay.
They were flimsy because I was getting them from Morehouse's bookstore.
Okay.
Morehouse had a print store, and one of my clients who worked on Morehouse was also doing a bartering with me for all my digital work.
Yeah.
So
okay.
My cards and all that stuff. And then he had a hookup at the Morehouse printing spot where he could get stuff printed up for me.
Okay.
So I passed Nas this card, this barber card that looks like a bookmark. And I was like, yo, Nas, I know that you read. I'm just a talented barber, blah, blah, blah. I wanted to give you my information if you ever need me, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
Never heard from him. Fast forward 2 years later, dude's in my chair.
Wow.
And I'm like, wow, this was kind of crazy because when I left him, I was like, oh no, I'm gonna cut his hair. And I'm never really that bold when it comes to like my client selection. I was like, no, I'm gonna cut his hair. And I didn't even know who Nas was really at that point because, like I said, I was a church kid. I wasn't listening to no hip hop really. I was a square. So I think, and that's what made it that's what made Nas so comfortable with me because I wasn't a fan because I was like a guy. So once I started cutting him, he got more and more comfortable. I'll start going out to his house, and it just turned into a dope friendship. And like I said, I started working with Nas in 2011, and we still working together. Pre-COVID, and just being able to see the world is where I got that inspiration for the Musa layer. So what I started realizing is when I started traveling the world with Nas, we go to Paris, we'll go to South Africa, we'll be like Australia. And I would go all over the place, and I would always we'll be in Paris one time. I was like, wow, this seems like this is where luxury is born. But then I realized that everything that made me feel like luxury was in Paris was because of those stolen monuments from Africa, right?
Go ahead.
I said, Paris can't be the lead of luxury if they stealing stuff that is luxury to build their own construct, right? So I was like, I started just going to all the museums, and when I would go to the museums, I would see most of the stuff would be like African stolen art. You know what I'm saying? So I was just like, I just always known the value of African art,
yes,
right, and what it does to a spot. And then I started as I was traveling with Nas. When you travel with Nas, it's like traveling with a king. So you're staying in the finest hotels, you start getting bougie. You're like, hey. Ma'am, I only received 1 mint on my pillow. Where's my mint? Throw the mint down on the mint bounces off because the bed's so tightly made.
Yeah.
So you know what I'm saying? So it's like that, man. So So I just started getting really like just the experiences that I was having with this man. Like we'll go to dinners, I'm eating with some of the craziest meals I've ever made. And I just started seeing like, yo, I want my clients to feel this so that they're not mad at me when I'm out and not around them.
Wow.
So I said, I want to create something when I get back. Because when I first started going on the road with Nas, I was making more cutting hair than I ever made in my life. I was like, wow, I'm getting that to make cut hair. Mm-hmm. So I always felt responsible for like, I always felt whatever I made out there, I had to bring that money back to the gallery or the shop. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Whatever shop I worked in. So I was working at Ramsey's. So chairs started breaking down. So what I did, I bought my own chair. Mm-hmm. Got it reupholstered and everything. Mm-hmm. Every time I would go on tour, I would come back and do something new, get new clippers, like all gold clippers, or get a steamer, get a hot towel machine. I would always get something new to enhance my client's experience so that they wouldn't be mad at me for always being out.
Wow.
And so that just started turning into like a way of life, to the point to where it just morphed into the Mussolera. Because this is like the third Mussolera that I've had. Mm-hmm. First Mussolera was in a small four-wall little box. Uh-huh. Me, Hawk, Tyreek, and Q. Mm-hmm. Second one was in East Point. Mm-hmm. And then now this one, which is all me, is a full service like spa art gallery with we have 6 chefs. We have 6.
Yeah, chefs. You have 6 chefs,
bro. We have 6 chefs, bro. We have 6 chefs, though.
Wow.
So like, if you're in Atlanta, you can literally, if you had like, because COVID, we all know the COVID situation. So we've even tried to change our whole business model, bro. And we only want personal relationships. We don't want people we don't know.
Absolutely.
Because now the time is like, you only want to spend time with those that you are willing to say, I could die with this person now.
Absolutely.
Period. So now we're doing things like literally just like having like events where you want to meet up with your homies. Y'all all go get a haircut at the same time. Somebody gets a massage. Somebody's getting their feet done. We have a chef come cook for you guys, 3-course meal. Mm. We got an arcade in there. And then y'all just get to chop it up and just have a real life, old school like feeling again. You know what I'm saying?
An intimate experience. It's an intimate experience.
Yeah, wow. So we're not even selling haircuts no more. We're just really selling experiences.
Dude, you said so much there that I gotta kind of back up a little bit. Okay, you talked about when you're traveling around the world and the inspiration from Mussolera, and I assume that you're talking inspired by Mansa Musa, correct?
Mansa Musa, the wealthiest man of all time.
Absolutely,
$100 billion. Mm-hmm. And the reason why we use Mansa Musa, the Musa layer, Musa, of course, first name Lion King, King of Kings, Gold King. Mm-hmm. Mansa Musa got all of his wealth off of salt and gold, which in biblical terms is preservation, which is salt, the salt
Absolutely.
of the earth, right? And gold, which is value. So we preserve the value of our culture when you come to the Mussolera. So that's why we have the Black artists. That's why we have the music that we play. That's why we have the elegant chairs that we have. You're sitting in a throne. That's why we have the finest cloth on your neck. That's why we do the best work in the industry, because we want you to have, because we're being like brothers are being attacked, man. We like, we literally like right behind you. We're prey to people. Like they see that elephant in the back. People want our trunks, bro. They just want our trunks, bro, because they know that we have something, that ivory in us is so much deeper than anything, bro. So I want to spot a layer, meaning a retreat for a wounded animal. Ooh. Layer. So you may think you're endangered in the world, but here you're welcome, and we're going to build you back up, and we're going to send you back out. And the generosity that Mansa Musa had, which was the other thing that we really stand true on, was when he went on this pilgrimage to Cairo. He had a Cairo stop. He was on to Mecca.
Yep.
He gave away so much money that he's upset their economy for 7 years. So his generosity upset their economy. So when you come to the Musa layer, you're getting built, you're getting restored. And then when you go back out, we're upsetting the economy that you live in. because you're going to mess things up because now you're inspired, you're built up. You see that a barber who came from a single parent home, who was 12 years old, fat, chubby, they used to call bookman, cleaning up the shop, now has an art gallery with the top artists in the world on his wall. We have at least $250,000 worth of art on our wall.
Wow.
And that's all by relationship. We haven't paid a dime for it. And it's all available for just because we want to enrich and enhance the culture. And that's all it is. Mussolini.
Dude, I'm gonna tell you, man, that's such a powerful concept, because travel, and this is why I think travel is so big. Like one of the goals for my wife and I, again, obviously once COVID, drops and everything, we want our kids to touch every continent in the world before they finish high school. Like we want our kids to do that. Like we took them to Italy last year, and they've been to Mexico. So we got North America and Europe kind of checked off, but we want them to touch every continent. So we still got Africa, Asia, Australia, and South America. I mean, Antarctica. Okay, we ain't gonna worry too much about that. But the reality is, travel opens your mind to that. And to me, when you talk about your experiences and your exposure, I have a concept that exposure leads to opportunity. So you are exposed to seeing it, but the curiosity inside of you allowed you to go deeper than that. So most people would just go to Paris and like, oh, Paris, oh, Paris, oh, Paris. But then you thought about what's behind the scenes, what led to that. And that took you to the motherland, that took you to Africa. And it's interesting, even the concept of what we talk about, like raw materials. We talk about, you think about chocolate, you think about Swiss chocolate or Belgian chocolate and all of that. The reality is 90% of the chocolate in the world comes from Cote d'Ivoire or Ghana, right? But it's not branded as that. That's right. Or you think about vanilla, you think about French vanilla and this and that. 90% of all vanilla beans are grown in Madagascar. Like people don't understand that the actual root to that is what we need to start celebrating. And one of the challenges in the system that we live in from a worldwide perspective is we have not taken hold of the processing of the raw materials. The raw materials are there, but others have come in and processed those raw materials. What you're doing with the Musa layer is you're taking the raw material, the value prop that's there. You talked about the salt and the gold and reimagining that, but you're processing that into an exquisite experience that you're now selling. You're not selling haircuts. You're selling experiences. And to me, that's the analogy of the association of actually processing these raw, precious gems and materials and resources that others have kind of let go astray. And I appreciate that, man.
Thank you, sir. I mean, like you said before, man, like being able to like go and travel, man, really does change your mind, because you see how much other people have done and are doing. Going to museums also is something that like really has enlightened me too, because like, again, I say you get to see that people did stuff before you. So you're like, your ego can't stretch too high, because you see this massive painting that was done 1,000 years ago that looks better than like a picture. You feel what I'm saying? Like, so it's like you can't have, like, all you can do is just like, okay, what am I going to add to the world right now that's going to live like an artifact? You know what I'm saying? I think I don't know if that's a Malcolm Gladwell or either a Malcolm Gladwell concept or Tony Roberts, but one of them said something to the effect of, you want to live your life to make artifacts. Like if there was aliens to come down on this earth 1,000 years from now and they found a semblance of you, how would they find it? What would they find of you? And that's all I'm just trying to do, is just leave artifacts like a mug, man. Like from being an NBA barber to cutting, I was at the last 5 finals, like cutting the players, like to being affiliated with Bevel, helping them with their development, their research and development, helping them develop their clippers, their liners, their trimmers, their products, like, bringing them exposure, to opening the art gallery, to having 2 kids, like all that stuff, man. Just like, I'm just trying to create artifacts, man.
Dude, and you're doing it. And I mean, and the thing is, it's not just the Musa Layer Gallery. Like I mentioned before, you're also the creator of a television show called Ghost Brothers. Like, I mean, so it's like,
let me tell you how that came about. Tell me
how that jumped off.
That came about by my brother creating it, Dalen Spratt. Dalen Spratt was creator of Ghost Brothers, the first version. He came to the shop, and this is why I say I give a lot of my credit and props to barbering, because he came to get a haircut. He's like, Marcus, you want to be on the show with me? Sure, why not? Mm-hmm. And ever since then, season 1, we killed it. Season 2, we started collabing. We created another show, season 3, called Ghost Brothers Haunted House Guest. We created another. We're working on another show coming up. But my relationship with Dalen was always forged because he would come get his haircut weekly, and we would just always be building and chopping it up. So I was interviewing him, and he was interviewing me for literally years prior to us doing that project. And now we're able to just have like doors and opportunities to do other things based off of, Ghost Brothers like that. So it's just,
dude, what do they say? Your gifts will make room for you.
They make room for you.
Yes,
and I've been in the mud too, bro.
But check this out. We all have. But the thing is, your gifts will make room for you, but you have to allow your gifts to make room for you. Yes. And I think that's part of, especially those that are high achievers or high performers in some aspect of life. Well, a lot of times we get into this control, right? Where we want to grab the bull by the horns and control it. I'm going to make this thing work the way that I want it to work. But the reality is, if you allow your gifts to make room for you, you can't control it. It's an analogy I use, and this is a faith analogy, hands off the wheel, feet firmly on the gas and the brake, right? Mm-hmm. And so it's the whole concept of when God says go, I'm gunning. When he says stop, I'm stopping, but I'm driving with my hands behind my head. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not controlling where it's going. I'm just controlling when it's time to go and when it's time to stop. And that's it. That's that faith thing. That's that walk that a lot of us have to be really mindful of in regards to how we operate. Because if we do that, then our gifts can make room for us. Then we can be placed in a situation with our wife in which we're allowed to, have to grow in conflict, so that and then we come to realize that growth and conflict together is what leads to our success. You know what I'm saying? But it requires me to put my hands behind my head and just keep my feet on the gas and the brake. Go when I'm supposed to go and stop when I need to stop. And that's hard. That's hard. Like that. I mean, on a personal level, that's something I struggle with on a regular basis because I want to pull that thing to the left, pull it to the right, want to make it do it. In society will tell you that you got to will it. You got to force it. I'm coming to realize that no, when you're controlled by a higher power, you don't. You just got to go when you're supposed to go. That's it. And you got to stop when you're supposed to stop.
Man, bro, I like that point. Even on the end on that point, you got to stop when you got to stop. Mm-hmm. I got to get to the shop today.
Oh, you do? You got to roll? Check this. Check this. Dude, check part 2. Absolutely. But before we go, your experiences, everything's come full circle, and you're a husband and you're a father. How have your experiences thus far impacted you as a Black father?
It's made me more intentional. It's like you want to, like I said, my father being a great man that he was, he just wasn't there day to day. And so I just want to be, I heard a line a rapper said, I'm just trying to be a better pops than my pops. And that's not a slight to him. It's like, because I want Kingsley to be a better pops than I am. Because then that's the way that our generations and our world continues to show its true dominance. You know what I'm saying? By like literally saying like, we don't compete against each other only in the way of being better. Like I want to be a better father than my father, and I want Kingsley to be a better father than I am. And I want to show Nova how her husband should be acting. You know what I'm saying? Or his mindset. Not even necessarily his style, but his mindset.
Ooh, that's deep. Check this out. You're standing on the shoulders of giants, and you want your kids to stand on the shoulders of their giant, which is their dad. Sir. Amen. Yes, amen. Sir. Well, brother, hey, how can folks connect with you, follow you? What's the best way to do so?
Just go on all platforms, the Marcus Harvey, THE, Marcus Harvey. Also go follow the Musa Layer on all platforms, Instagram, Facebook, our website, musalayergallery.com. You can also find our art page that we just started, Musa Layer Art. Okay. So it's going to be dope, man. So we got some things going, man. We got events coming up. We got initiatives. We got more, our 501c3 is happening. So Prom Kings is coming back out. So
We
got a whole lot. Just a whole lot, and I'm excited about it. So I got to live a long time.
Absolutely. Well, look, keep living, brother, and keep doing what you're doing. And I'll make sure to have all your contact info in the show notes. Fellas, make sure to follow the Marcus Harvey on all social media. Make sure to visit. Come to the Musa Layer Gallery. When I come to the ATL, even though I'm follically challenged, I got to figure out some way to come and kick it, brother.
Bro, we do that. We do a hair wax joint. It's crazy.
Man, look at it. I got to come get done with it. Man. I got to come get it done.
Come dig that. Bro.
Dig it, man. Well, man, hey, I appreciate you spending time with us, man. Most definitely. Y'all follow the Marcus Harvey across the board. Check out the Musa Layer Gallery. Just connect with the brother. He got some dope stuff going on. Continued success to you. Fellas, make sure to subscribe via Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Play, iHeartRadio. Anywhere you listen to podcasts, YouTube, share. If you're watching the video, cool. If you listen to the audio, cool. Share this thing out. It's going to help somebody. And until next time, y'all be blessed, well, and wise. And I'll holler at you. Peace.
Robo Shaka.
Yo, fellas, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. And always visit blackfathersnow.com, as well as follow Black Fathers Now on virtually every social media platform you can think of. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, everywhere. Just follow us and engage with us, man. Look forward to hearing from you. And I guess until next time, I'll holler at you. Peace.